Okay, let's start. So, how is everybody doing? I know for my colleagues from Baltic Amadeus, they would probably watch a basketball match between Lithuania and Slovenia, but we are forced to go here, so. Okay, so I know this is the last presentation today, so I hope it will be interesting for you. So let's start. So I'm Paulius Kuprevičius. I am from Baltic Amadeus. And today I will present you a tool we developed as a small R&D project in our company. It is called ProBro, and it is a VS Code extension for Progress database browsing. So, some info about me. I am working as a Progress OpenEdge developer only for 4 years. I am really into developing tools for other developers and especially for OpenEdge community. I am still studying my master's degree in software engineering in Estonia. And one interesting fact that I'm currently living in 3 countries at the same time. Like I'm registered in 3 countries. So I hope that I will not have any tax issues because of that. So some info about Baltic Amadeus. So we are a well-established software development company. I think we are the oldest software company in Lithuania. We are working for more than 30 years. We have more than 200 IT specialists working, and our Progress division is working since 1994. So it's older than me. Yeah. So our agenda for today is very simple. Firstly, I will introduce you to VS Code. I think most of you probably visited Gilles' presentation, so there will be some similar info there. Then I will introduce you to ProBro. After that, I will make a little demonstration, and finally, I will talk about the future and how can you help us to develop this tool. So, intro to VS Code. Who uses VS Code? So the question is for you. So raise your hands who uses VS Code daily. Okay, it's like half. And who uses VS Code for OpenEdge? Yeah, it's less. Okay, so I have the same slide as Gilles have. So outside this room, in the wide world of software development, VS Code is the total king of any development platforms. So, and this trend continues, and the popularity only grows. So that's why we are here, probably. So for those who don't use VS Code or don't use VS Code daily, what is VS Code? So VS Code is open source, not open source, sorry. It's source code editor, so it's not fully fledged IDE, but using various extensions you can make it to be fully fledged IDE. It is free to use. I don't think Microsoft has any paid version of it. It supports Windows, Linux, Mac OS. And that is based on the fact that it is based on Electron framework, which basically allows to develop web-based applications for various operating systems. And what is most important for us, it is easily extendable. So that feature we use to develop our extension. So what about VS Code and OpenEdge? So currently, if you browse VS Code Marketplace and type OpenEdge, you will find probably around 6 various extensions. and most of them are not actively supported except the one Gilles developed. So basically here is the copy of his features. If you visited his presentation, you probably know everything about it. If no, you probably can watch recording or just find the extension on the marketplace. So let's talk about ProBro and its features. So how this idea came to be. So I was using various VS Code extensions for other different databases, like different SQL databases or NoSQL databases. And there are a bunch of them. There are like hundreds of different database browsing, database management, database access, or something related to databases extensions. And they fall into 4 categories. So there are some SQL syntax support extensions, there are database management features, there are scripting features, and so on. And the huge ones, they're developed by Microsoft, by Oracle, basically combines most of these features. Another thing we looked at, another tool is DataDigger. It is created by Patrick Tingen, and it is written fully in OpenEdge. It is already developed for almost 15 years, so it's really stable and really useful. So how many of you use DataDigger daily? Not daily, twice a week or something, yeah? Okay. So like almost half of people. So yeah, so DataDigger is very well created, very well written tool. It's also useful for us as OpenEdge developer that it's written in OpenEdge, so you can easily look into it or use it as a reference or integrate into your software. And also it is it supports somewhat old OpenEdge versions, so that's also useful for some cases. So, but yeah, so what could be potential benefits of VS Code, of new VS Code extension? And these benefits basically comes from the VS Code itself. So what we can get from VS Code. So we can get snappy and nice looking graphical user interface. Also, it is easy to reach. If you use VS Code as your development platform, the possibility to access your database inside it, it sounds really useful. Also, it works on Linux and also to some extent on macOS in our case. And also there is that possibility to connect remotely through SSH or through newly created VS Code server, which is still in beta version, I think, but it is coming. So when we consider it, when we initially considered 2 possible solutions how to develop this new extension. First sounds a bit funny. It is to create an extension for an existing database extension, and another is to create a new, completely new extension. And what about this extension for extension thing? So there are a lot of, as you saw, there are a lot of various database browsing access extensions developed, and some of them are basically can access multiple databases, even NoSQL database. So the idea was maybe we could just reuse this front-end part and basically just integrate, make some kind of middleware to integrate our OpenEdge like Progress database. But we decided that there are more problems with that, there are more issues. First of all, dependency on others' work, and that might not be a big issue, but the next issue is that there are no like industry standard extensions. There are a bunch of them, different ones. Some of them are not supported actively. Some of them have paid versions. So it's very hard to pick one and depend your work on that. And also there are possible issues to adopting this like SQL-oriented extension to our needs. So we decided to stick to our work and to create a completely new extension. So this is like little diagram how VS Code extension architecture looks like. Basically, there are two types of extensions. There are UI extensions and there are workspace extensions. And our is space extension, and here is some like tech stack of our development. So we used front-end. For front-end, we used React.js. For so-called middleware, we tapped into basically VS Code extension API, which is somewhat Node.js related. Also, backend was written in OpenHABL. We've written ABL socket server, and yeah, the database of your choice. That's the actual feature of this extension. So, what main functional requirements we considered? So, there are, they are really usual suspects here. Connect to multiple databases, show database structure, show indices, show fields, data, actual data from the database, custom queries, sorting, filtering, importing, exporting, and so on. So you might say, okay, but there is this data digger. It does basically the same. It is well written and it's very functional, and you are right. But yeah, we focused more on non-functional requirements. So again, to tap into VS Code, to use its flexible layouts, to adopt its themes, and also good performance, which comes from VS Code, and also possibility to make it multi-platform very easily without many without basically rewriting your code base. And the main feature, it is open source. It's a very important feature. We decided to make this extension to our right as an open source project so that everyone could join, could create issues for us, or could even fix them. So that's a very important feature for this extension. And our development process was divided into 3 parts. First, we created so-called POC, which stands for proof of concept, basically to show that it's possible to do that. Then we moved to prototype phase, during which we basically developed the main features, the main functionality. And after that, we moved to MVP, or minimum viable product stage, which means that we tried to finalize the features and to make the whole extension usable and user-friendly. And I need to thank my team. I was not alone developing this. Dmitry Kidalov, Justinas Kniukšta, and Lukas Plastinkin helped me with this extension. I was not the main developer, so I need to thank them. So yeah, let's now continue with demo. So give me a second, I will prepare. Yeah, I think you can see it, yeah? So, let's start with, okay, I have a list of features I need to show you, so I would not forget them. Okay, so let's start with how to find this extension. So, as you probably know, there is such a thing called My Marketplace, and you can type just OpenEdge, and now you can find this extension. We have this nice logo, which is very different from the existing ones. Like almost like 60% of OpenEdge extension has OpenEdge logo. Yeah, and here you can see there's some information about it. You can access the repository or the marketplace. So yeah, and there is a changelog of features we developed. Last release was this morning, I believe, last fixes. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. Currently, I have this extension installed, so we can switch it. We can switch to it. So here you can see there is, if you can see, here is the log of it, and when you press it, you access the screen to the left side, and on the top, you can see the database connections. So now we have only one database connection called testDB. Below that, you can see tables of this database. So, but maybe let's create a new database connection, connect to our database. So here you can connect to server. You can create a connection name, which basically it's up to you. You can call it whatever you want, my DB, for example. You can create group. This is basically for you to separate your connections. Maybe it's like staging or something. When it's physical name, here you basically type the actual name in the location in file system. And when it's description, which is not important, localhost here. And yeah, port 5555. So we can save this connection. And now it appears here, the group staging. And when you press it, you get the, this is sportsDB, so you get the sportsDB tables. Now, yeah, so also you can switch between databases very easily, just by clicking. And yeah, we can now continue with what's here. So we have a database table list. If you press on any table, we have here, you can see the fields and indices to the right side. I set up this for myself. You can move those windows, basically whatever in what order you want. For me, it's the most useful way to have Field Explorer here and indices here. And as you can see, there is basically all info you need for your needs. And yeah, so another feature is we can filter database tables. We can select user tables, or we can also see, for example, schema tables. And it appears here instantly. You can basically select all by pressing this. So yeah. Possibility to select hidden tables. Another feature is that you can this comes of course from the VS Code itself. We can have multiple tabs. Okay, not this. Yeah, so when you press on the this play button, you access the data itself from the table, and you can you can open how many windows you want. You can arrange them in whatever order you want. That comes from VS Code itself. So let's talk about this data in more detail. So let's open customers. Okay, so as you can see, there is an input field here. And here you can basically write your custom queries using ABL. So for example, we can try to get cust num equals 100. And I don't know this, okay. No 100? Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's try it. Whatever. It's not the point to get 100. 100 customers. So let's we can basically type whatever ABL query you want here. Then, if you don't like ABL, which would be strange, you can use filtering and sorting in the table. So, and this is filtering feature. So by pressing on this headers, you can filter, you can sort the fields. By pressing Control, you can have multiple sorting. And here is the filtering feature. So for example, you want Finland. Okay, no, yeah, that's Finland for you. So you basically can use this filtering and sorting in combination to access your data. For example, one more feature is that if you type whatever nonsense, you get VSABL records, VSABL errors here in red font. And also here below you can see some data. So for now it's like hard-coded to get 100 records initially. If you scroll down, it will load more. So it's called like lazy loading. And it shows you some statistics, how many milliseconds it took, how many records were retrieved. Yeah. One another feature, which is maybe, I don't know if you can see it very easily on the dark mode. So another feature we developed, and that was not that easy, but we developed the possibility to switch. It's not we developed it, but we made it possible that our extension would be working with any theme you want. So if it's white, everything changes to white inside these windows, and it should be clearly visible and accessible. Yeah. So another feature is possibility to select fields you want to see. For example, here, as you can see, customer table has many fields. So you don't, if you don't want to scroll to the other side, you can just select fields you want to see, and it allows you to do that. And you can select all, you can deselect, and if you have multiple tables open, it should also work for multiple tables. Yeah. Another feature is export functionality, which is, for now, it's a very simple one. It does not have many options here. It's basically you can export data to CSV or JSON or Excel formats. And basically that is, okay, not cancel, export. I think this customer table has many records, so it might take some time. Okay, that was a mistake probably to open that. Okay.
If you set a query and export, will it export based on the query?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I created in this customer table like 1 million records, so it's now trying to create a file with 1 million records, and that might take a while. I hope that will not crash everything else. Okay. That's interesting. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Another feature is possibility to change the format. So we have this data coming from the backend to this extension frontend in 2 different formats. We have this so-called raw format, which is basically JSON, and we have formatted with the format which comes from the database descriptions, fields format. So if I click this raw button, it changes, for example, adds % sign for discount or it removes it. So it basically formats data as it according to format from the database. Yeah. And yeah, so and the last features basically are the so-called CRUD operations. So we can create record, we can update record, and we can delete record. So if I select create, okay. Oh, yeah. Let's try that. I'm happy that I managed to show you most of the features without crashing, so that's a win, yeah. Okay, might need to, okay. Yeah, so that is, that shows you that there are still things to improve here. And we can move now to, probably, to our final part of presentation. Okay, let's go through it to the part of, yeah. So, yeah, there are, as you saw, there are some issues and there are some performance issues also. And we are still developing some main features. For example, we don't have importing features. We don't have some other. And there are a lot of things in the backlog. I joke that we had like 20 features in the backlog initially. And after developing them, we have 40. And probably when we develop those, we will get 80. So it's increasing. And so, yeah, so you can see here are our features we think about. Maybe some database management features, not like for admin stuff, but basically what would be useful to developer. OpenEdge ABL syntax support for writing those custom queries would be nice. Also, maybe showing some other information, like sequences or, whatever. And yeah, editing connection is still not here. And as I said, importing data, and also what is useful is, it's still not here, export to D file. Because now we use just very general exporting tools, like on the front-end side. So we would need to implement it on the back-end side to export to D files. And yeah, so as you saw, there are still some issues. And feel free to join. There is a link to our GitHub repository, which is open, accessible. And there is a link to Visual Studio Code Marketplace, so you can just find it. Probably, I think, if you, I don't know, I think I talked with my colleagues, if for the first person who, for example, fixes this issue with exporting, so it would not like crash everything, we can provide some prizes. For example, a t-shirt, yeah? So, good luck. Yeah. So, you can contact us via GitHub. You can create issues for us. Also, you can reach me through LinkedIn or just write me an email. And I'm all yours this afternoon and tomorrow. So, do you have any questions?
Yes, Paulius, there is an online question. It says, will the grid display work for the single table data only? And how would it display the values from multiple tables in one grid? I don't think, is it possible?
To show the data from multiple databases or multiple tables?
No, multiple tables.
For now, it's not possible. I'm not sure if that is what are the use case for that. Maybe there are, but it might be tricky to implement. But yeah, that is one of the ideas.
Question? Yes?
if you have a table with many indexes, then for querying which index is selected, can you itself choose what is used?
Which indexes are selected if there are multiple indexes, yeah? I'm right?
Yes, for query, what is used for querying data?
What is used? Okay, so I don't have an answer to this question. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I was not the one who developed the backend side, so.
No, but I think that if you run it through the Progress database, it will be solved by Progress with the normal index selection rules.
I think so, yeah, I agree, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we have some tricks here, there, but.
The feature we could request is to allow select a specific index, and it's use index data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't do that. More questions? Gilles? No. Okay.
You get a prize if you break it?
No, you get a prize if you fix it. Because to break it it's very easy to break it. You need to fix it. Yeah, it's still version 0.4.0, so it's like a long way to version 1. So yeah, but as we talked, we can provide a prize if we fix some nasty bugs. That's up to you.
But we didn't see it, but if you click the create and it works, will it show you all the fields like in a horizontal or in a vertical way? Or what is the UI if you do the create in a table?
Yeah, so if you do a create, it opens a form to fill the data for fields, and then you press create, and then it creates a new entry. So basically it's a form with the fields the table has.
Scrollable.
Yeah, scrollable, yeah, because there are some hundreds of fields, tables. We thought about that.
Question is, you mentioned Linux. I presume that you are running some sort of OpenEdge runtime somewhere in the background, so it's not going to have any support for macOS.
Yeah, now we only tested it on Linux. We don't support macOS, and I'm not sure, yeah, about that, if that's possible or easily doable. But yeah, for Linux we tested it. I didn't manage to show it to you today because I don't have Linux on this PC, and I didn't create a VM or something. But yeah, it's possible to use it on even some Ubuntu with graphical user interface, or it's possible to access it through SSH connection. So yeah, there are some possibilities with Linux. Or yeah.
What component must be installed from OpenEdge? What OpenEdge components must be installed, or you have everything already in place?
I think I have everything, but I'm not sure about that, which component should be installed.
Okay.
I can answer it to you. I can give an answer to you later. I have to check that. Because also with versions, we now tested it on 11.7, and I'm not sure how old can you get, to what version it will be not working. So that is also we need to a bit work on that and investigate.
So my question is, in what language did you write the integration? I'm not familiar with building extensions in Visual Studio Code, so.
Yeah, so everything you see, the front-end side, these tables, was written in TypeScript, and we used React framework. And the Visual Studio Code is basically written in JavaScript, TypeScript. So to use its API, we need also to use TypeScript. So basically, this was 90% TypeScript project, and only a few hundred lines of OpenEdge ABL. Yeah. So, but yeah, OpenHABL is on the backend side to access the actual data.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need to install the backend separately, or is it in? Do you need to install the backend separately, or is it installed by installing the extension?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, you only need to have OpenH installed. I don't actually know which component you need to have it work, but everything else comes from this extension. So the so-called backend side is also coming from this extension just by downloading it, installing it from the marketplace.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, then thank you very much and good luck. Thank you.